Hello everyone. Today we are going to be solving November 2021 IB MYP Standard Mathematics past paper question. The first question is talking about a flock of birds which is flying apparently. The first part says the diagram below shows a flock of birds flying, and this is a 4 mark question, right? And this is a complete 4 mark question. Part A says, a bird joins the flock at position C, D. The shape formed is symmetrical. Write down the coordinates. Now, this point, it basically tells us the answer. It is supposed to be a symmetrical shape. Now, what is a symmetrical shape? For those who don't have any idea, symmetrical shape is a type of a shape where, for instance, if I am drawing a square, which looks like this, so square is a symmetrical shape, which means that it can completely overlap with each other if it is divided into two equal portions, right? So it is going to be a complete overlap. Did I start the recording? Yes, I did. So I have to ensure that it is symmetrical in shape completely, right? So what does that mean? I have to make, or I have to find the coordinate where the position is going to be completely overlapping. So if you were to look at this closely, you could find it that if this would be the position of the fourth um, bird, or basically, no, not the fourth, the seventh bird. I'm not a good uh, artist, so but I'll try my best. This is going to be the complete overlapping shape structure, right? So your answer is going to be, now you have to give your answer in the form of a coordinate. The coordinates are C, D. So C is supposed to be -3. C is going to be -3, and D is going to be +4. Or you can also write it as 3 comma -3 comma 4, right? This would be your first one. Let me just, yeah. Okay. Then it says the flock of birds changes direction and rotates 90 degrees about center. Okay. So the center is 0 comma 0, but it doesn't matter here right now because there is rotation and the rotation angle is of 90 degrees. Now you should know that when there is a rotation of 90 degrees, so there are two rules that you are supposed to be following. The first one is that you have to swap both of the places, and the second rule is that you have to change the y sign. Okay, for what bird? Specifically determine the coordinates of bird number 5 after the rotation. Okay, bird number 5 is this one. -1 comma 3. -1 comma 3. This is the initial coordinate. Two steps need to be applied. The first step is you have to swap their places. So that becomes 3 comma -1. But this is not going to give you the complete mark because the other part suggests that you have to change the y sign. This becomes 3 comma +1, and this is going to be your final answer. Now, how do we know these rules? If you were to join me for my live classes, you will then understand this idea and this concept. Okay, so I'll upload my contact details as well at the end. So if any one of you is interested in joining my live classes, you can understand it from there. Of course, I cannot do it instantly right now because it's a long concept. Okay, the diagram below shows another flock of birds in two positions, A and B. The movement from A to B requires two transformations. Okay, let's look at this graph. Okay, the movement from A to B requires two transformations. Hmm. So, okay, the first type of transformation is the rotation, and they've already given it. It's a complete 180-degree rotation. Now, we all know, we all should be well aware of this, that when there is a 180-degree rotation, 180-degree rotation, what do? We simply have to change the signs. Nothing else. We don't have to swap the positions, we just have to change the signs. Okay. Now I ask you this question. Let's take this bird as our reference. Oops, where is it? Yeah, this one. Let's take this bird as our reference. This is present at -3 comma -1 initially. If we were to apply the first rule of rotation, that is going to be 3 comma 1, right? So this is where the bird would be heading. Like this would be the beak, and this would be the rest of its body moving in this direction, right? So this is the first idea. But there is still another transformation which needs to be done. And what transformation is that? That transformation is supposed to be, what sort of transformation would it be? It is definitely going to be, it looks like a translation, right? It looks like translation because it is moving downwards. Now a translation is supposed to be represented in the form of a vector. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you can say that it is moving down with vector 0, vector -5, right? So it is basically having some sort of a displacement or a translation, and this is the vector that it has. So you can write it down as translation, and the vector is supposed to be 0, -5, or down by 5 units. But it is better that you represent it in the form of a vector. That would be way better. Let's move forward. Okay, I've solved this question on my YouTube uh, account. You can look at it there, but I'll still solve it again, not an issue at all. Using the information provided in the diagram below, find the height of the curtain. Okay, initially this looks quite confusing, and students might feel that, oh, we haven't solved this question anywhere, but actually you people have. Okay, you people have solved this question. You people do understand the concept. Now I'll explain the concept later on. I'll not explain the concept in this video, but I'll explain how to solve this question. Let's represent this information that we have in the form of an equation. What equation? I can say that one table plus two cartons equals 140. And then I can also say that table minus carton equals 50. Now the table is being represented by T and carton is represented by C, right? So I can say T plus 2C equals 140, T minus C equals 50. Now this should be well understood by majority of the students who are able to score 6 or 7, that this question is of simultaneous equations, right? So I can say T plus 2C equals 140, This is equation 1. T minus C equals 50. Now we have to find the height of carton. So which means that we have to find the value of C. In order to find the value of C, we'll have to eliminate T. Now this can be done in both methods. You can solve it using, what do we call it? You can solve it using the other method, which is the substitution method, or you can use the elimination method. I want to use the elimination method right here. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to simply erase this part, make some space. Yeah, I want to eliminate t. So I'm going to introduce a big negative sign. T minus t and t becomes eliminated. 2c minus c. Minus sign here already and minus sign from the one that I've introduced. So this becomes 2c plus c, which becomes 3c, equals 140 minus 50, which becomes 90. And here you have the value of c, which becomes 90 over 3, which becomes of 30, right? So the height of the curtain is going to be 30 centimeters. If you wanted to solve it using another method, you could have solved it in that way as well. Just move on to the next question if you do understand this part, but this was the elimination method. If you want to solve it using substitution method, you could do it this way. T plus 2c equals 140. T minus c equals 50. So you can form an equation basically. T minus 50 equals c. So basically this is equation 2 and this is equation 2 not. This is how I teach my private students, that you have to substitute or basically change the appearance of one of the two equations, right? So you have this equation. Simply substitute the value of t minus 50 into the first equation. So you get t plus 2 into t minus 50 equals 140. T plus 2t minus 100 equals 140. 3t equals 140 plus 100, that becomes 240, because of course it's going to travel to the other side of the equation, and t equals 80, right? And once you found the value of t equals 80, now simply substitute the value of t into this equation or any equation. All of them are simultaneous, right? So you get 80 minus 50 equals c, and you get 30 equals c. So here is going to be your right answer. I hope this makes sense. This was a 5 mark question. So look, 5 marks have been secured from the first part and 3 marks have been secured from the second part. Okay, let's move forward. No need to read all of this. This is just going to cost your time. This is a very smart strategy that I'm giving you all. Mostly stuff like this is going to cost your time and this is just going to confuse you. Focus on the first part of the question. The probability that travelers choose the shortest road to Rome is 2 by 5. All roads lead to Rome, right? As they say. So this is the probability. Write down the probability that they will not choose the shortest road. That's very easy. There should be no rocket science. If the probability of Rome is, let's say, 2 by 5, so the probability, or basically probability of shortest road, so I should have written it like this, short. So the probability of not short should simply be 1 minus 2 over 5, which is 1 minus 0.4, which becomes 0.6 and can be written as 3 by 5. Now, I tell my students that, and this is a good useful tip that I'm giving that's going to save you all marks. Now, there are two types of fractions and decimals, right? Now, there are recurring fractions and there are non-recurring fractions. 0.6 is a non-recurring fraction, right? And 0.6 can be written as 3 by 5 or 6 over 10. So whenever there are non-recurring fractions, you can write them in the form of uh, no, sorry, non-recurring decimals. You can write them in the form of fractions. Okay, but there are some types, which is, for example, 7 by 9. 7 by 9, if you were to solve it on a calculator, I don't have my calculator with me right now. Oh my god, I just messed it up. So it's going to be somewhere around 0.777, some big value, right? So it is better off that you write it as 7 by 9 instead of 0.77, because 0.77 is by default a recurring, non-recurring value, but 7 by 9 is a recurring value. So that's the difference. Okay, just be careful about it. Travelers could get lost on different roads. The probabilities for getting lost are illustrated in the tree diagram below. Write down the missing probabilities in the tree diagram. Okay. So shortest probability is 2 by 5. So not shortest probability is supposed to be definitely 3 by 5, right? No rocket science here. If they take the shortest road, easy way out, there's a high possibility that they get lost. Okay. That's why they say that you should not take shortcuts in life because you can get lost, right? So if you take the shortest road, more possibility. So the possibility of not being lost is 1 minus 7 by 10, which becomes 3 by 10. Okay. Now, the probability and the possibility of not taking the shortest road is 3 by 5, and being lost in it is 1 by 3. So automatically, not lost is going to be 1 minus 1 by 3, which becomes 2 by 3. Okay. Yeah, that's the mark complete. Okay. Part C says determine the probability of choosing the shortest road and not getting lost. Choosing the shortest road and not getting lost. So something like this. Yeah. First things first, write the possibility of choosing the shortest road, which becomes 2 by 5. And not being lost has a probability of 3 by 10, right? So this becomes 6 over 50, or simply 3 over 25. And since 3 over 25 is a non-recurring decimal, you can also write it as 0.12. Both of these answers would be selected and, you know, acceptable. Okay. Then it says, find the probability that a traveler will not get lost. Will not get lost. Okay. So not lost has two types of probabilities. Now this is what confuses most of the students, and they get confused with where they should multiply and when they should add. So just have a look now. Not lost is our primary focus. Okay. Not lost can be achievable by two methods. So yeah. Hmm. So the first probability is what we've already calculated, that is 0.12. Or let me just attempt the question again for your own ease. Look, I'll explain this in word form. Not lost can be done in two ways, right? Short route and the long route. Now, first probability is of not lost and short route, the one that we just calculated, which is 0.12. And the second probability is of not lost multiplied by long route, which is 2 by 3 multiplied by 3 by 5. which is um, 6 over 15. Okay, now what we have to do is that look, this is the probability of not getting lost, right? Yeah. Then we have to subtract 1 from the value. 1 minus 6 over 15. So this becomes 14 over 50. No, not 14 over 50. Yeah. Okay. Then how to attempt this question? So we have 6 over 15 here, right? What we have to do is we have to subtract 1 from 6 over 15. So that is going to be simply, wait, 3 over 15. And then we are supposed to add both of these. Wait a minute, I'm just doing a mistake. Let me just bring my calculator. Give me a second. I just don't have my calculator with me. Give me a second. Okay. Now I have my calculator with me. So let's think about this logic. Find the probability that the traveler will not get lost. So the first type of probability is when he takes a short path, and the other type of probability is that he does not, yeah, he takes the larger part. Okay, so that is supposed to be mm, 2 over 5, in fact no, 3 over 5 multiplied by 1 over 3. So that becomes 3 over 15. Now what you're supposed to be doing, in fact no, 2 over 15. So this becomes 6 over 15, right? Because 2 over 3 was the value of not getting lost. So 6 over 15 would be your part of the long route. Now you are supposed to be adding both of these values together. 0.12 plus 6 over 15, and you are going to get an answer of simply 0.52, right? This is going to be your final answer. Okay, now let's move forward. Then it says, yeah, the probabilities from the tree diagram can be represented in a Venn diagram. Okay, use your previous answers, determine the missing value. If you take the shortest route, so that probability is supposed to be 3 by 25, right? Okay, that probability is 3 by 25. Now, you all should be aware of the idea that the sum of probabilities is always going to be equal to 1, right? Total probabilities are always going to be equal to 1. So if this value, let's consider this value as x. So I can say that 3 over 25 plus 6 over 15 plus 14 over 50 plus x equals 1, isn't it? Right? So x equals 1 minus 3 over 25 minus 6 over 15 minus 14 over 50. Solve it. 1 minus 3 over 25 minus 14 over 50 minus 6 over 15. So your answer is 0.2 or simply 1 by 5. Okay, 1 by 5 is your answer in this case. So that's the value of the missing value in the Venn diagram. Okay, I hope this is clear. A traveler went to Rome on 3 occasions. Determine the probability that on all 3 occasions the traveler did not choose the shortest road and did not get lost. Did not choose the shortest road and did not get lost. Did not choose the shortest road and did not get lost. Okay, so the probability of not choosing the shortest road and not getting lost is 3. 3 by 5 multiplied by 2 by 3. Right? 2 by 3, which becomes 6 over 15. But he traveled to Rome 3 times. And all the 3 times he had the same probability. So it is going to be cube or simply 6 over 15 multiplied by 6 over 15 multiplied by 6 over 15. So if you were to solve this one, 6 over 15 and its whole cube would be 8 over 125. Okay, I hope this is clear. Okay, well, I don't have access to um, the audio recordings or the video. This is the problem. Okay, we'll just have to ignore this question for now. My apologies on that. I'll just try to find a solution for this instantly. Let's solve this question. Question 5. Find the value of x. X plus 7. Okay. Whenever you all see a right angled triangle, I would recommend you all to remember 3 things in mind. The first thing is the trigonometric ratios, which can be remembered as sine of theta equals perpendicular over hypotenuse, cosine of theta equals base over hypotenuse, and tan of theta equals perpendicular over base. Okay. Then is the formula for the area, which is 1 over 2 multiplied by base multiplied by height. And then it is supposed to be the Pythagorean theorem. Now you have to find the value of x. Can I say that x squared plus 17, no, not 17, yeah, x squared plus x plus 7 whole squared equals 17 squared, right? I can say this, right? I definitely can say this. Then what do we do next? We simply expand this bracket. So this is, but where's my writing pen? There's some sort of a problem with my writing machine as well. X squared plus x plus 7 whole squared can be opened like this. X into x is x squared. X into 7 is positive 7x. 7 into x is positive 7x. And 7 plus 7 is supposed to be 49. So this leaves you with x squared plus 14x plus 49 equals 17 squared. And then 17 squared is supposed to be 289. Now, we can further solve this by writing 2x squared plus 14x 49 minus 289. This becomes minus 240 because 289 is going to move to the other side of the equation. Both of these x squares are going to also add up with each other. If you want to, make this part easier for you, what you can do is you can divide both of these values by 2. So you get x squared plus 7x minus 120, right? Okay. Now, there is a high possibility that the value of x would be a whole number. And when if it's a whole number, it is better for us that we use the method of um, completing, no, no, sorry, not completing the square, the factorization or the breaking the midterm, right? That would be way better. Okay. So in order to do that, the first thing that we have to do is that we have to find the factors of 120. So 120 can be done by 20 times 6, 40 times 3, 60 times 2. But those factors should also add or subtract to give us an answer of positive 7. Okay. So this can be done by, yeah, 15 times 8. 15 times 8 is one of the factors. So you can write this as x squared plus 15x minus 8x minus 120, right? Okay. Then take x as common. Within the bracket, you will have x plus 15. Take minus 8 as common. Within the bracket, you will have x plus 15 again. Apart from that, no, let's solve it using the same method, right? X plus 15 is one of the answers and x minus 8 is one of the answers. But as you know, you'll have to take the negative values of each value to get to the accurate values, right? So one value of x is going to be negative 15 and the other one is supposed to be positive 8. Now, which one of the values are we going to be considering? This is very important for all of you to understand. Now, students will get confused, and some of the students are going to take negative 15. Always remember, we are not going to take negative 15 because x is representing a length, and a length cannot be negative, right? It has to be positive. So we'll take value of x as the real one. So you will write x equals to positive 8, right? So this is 4 marks confirmed. Hence, determine the area of the triangle. So if this is 8, this is 15, and this is 17, how would you find the value for the area of this triangle? Not exactly rocket science, I hope. 1 over 2 multiplied by base multiplied by height. The base is supposed to be of 8 and the height is supposed to be of 15. Be careful, 17 is the length or the slant height, it's not the height. So 1 over 2 multiplied by 8 multiplied by 15, this becomes 4 times 15, which becomes 60 units squared. It's better that you people write units squared in your answers. Okay. Air traffic controls. Okay. Uh, Whenever you see some sort of numericals in your answers, no, so just try to make sure that you read those parts. The minimum vertical distance between two airplanes must be 300 meters. The minimum distance between two airplanes flying at the same altitude must be 9200 meters. Okay. Just remember these two things. Very important. If you forget about the rest. Several flights take place between Seoul, Tokyo, and Jakarta each day. Airplanes cross each other in the sky several times a day. Okay. Show that the distance between Seoul and Tokyo is 1170 kilometers. Correct to the nearest three significant figures. Distance. We know that distance has a formula. Distance equals, we know that speed equals distance divided by time. So distance should equal speed multiplied by time taken, right? So the average speed was of 500, and the time that was taken was of 140 minutes. But there's a slight problem here. It's supposed to be in hours. Why? Because the average speed is being represented by hour. So the average speed is in kilometers per hour, right? So the flight time should be also in hours. But here it is given in minutes. So what we're going to do is we're going to multiply this by time of 140 over 60 because there are 60 minutes in 1 hour. Let me do it on a calculator. 500 multiplied by 140 over 60. This becomes, to be exact, it is 3500 over 3, which is the same as 1166.6667. But here it says correct to three significant figures. Okay, so correct to three significant figures. If you people understand the concept of significant figures, you people should know that 1166 can be rounded off to 1170. Okay, because these three are significant figures. Zero is not significant. Okay, I hope this clears it up. Then it says determine the flight time from Tokyo to Jakarta. Give your answer in minutes. Flight time from Tokyo to Jakarta. Flight time from Tokyo to Jakarta. Okay. Departure time is 11. Arrival time is not given. Okay, that's the reason why it tells to find your time. So time can be calculated by distance divided by the speed, isn't it? Time can be calculated by distance divided by the speed, isn't it? So we have a distance of 5,760 kilometers and the average speed of 900 kilometer per hour. So if we were to solve it on a calculator, we would get 5760 divided by 900. 32 over 5, or which becomes 6.4. Okay, but that is 6.4 hours, right? Now you know that if you're supposed to be given this answer in minutes, you know that 1 hour equals 60 minutes. So 6.4 hours is going to be how many minutes? So just simply cross multiply. That becomes 6.4 multiplied by 60 becomes 384. 384 minutes. Okay. That was not necessary, but I just still did it. And here the distance was 1170. This can be useful, probably later on. We'll check. Okay. Calculate the time at which they are vertically aligned. Give your answer to the nearest minute. Let's just read the question first. An airplane departs from Seoul to Tokyo at 7. Okay. And it has an average speed of 500 kilometers per hour. At the same time, another airplane at that specific same time, at exactly 7 o'clock at the morning, probably, another airplane departs from Tokyo to Seoul with an average speed which is lesser. Okay, if the speed is less, the distance is supposed to remain the same, but it is going to take more time, right? It is definitely going to take more time to travel the exact same distance. Okay, and this is the point where they are vertically aligned with each other. H and minute minute. It's a 5 mark question that makes sense. And it has calculated the time at which they will be vertically aligned. How would we solve it? This is challenging. Okay, what we know is that we can write one value of the distance traveled with reference to x and one value with a negative of x. What do I mean by that? Look, the plane that has departed from Seoul, it had a speed of 1170, right? If I'm not wrong. Yeah, distance between Seoul and Tokyo, no, okay, 1170 kilometers. So basically, that the total distance is 11. Let's say that this exact point is x. Okay, let's say that exact point is x. So this can be considered as writing 1170, which is the total distance, minus x. This should be equal to the speed of the plane that has departed from Tokyo, which is 436. You know that speed equals distance divided by time, right? What am I doing basically? So time equals distance over speed. How much distance has it traveled? Look, the distance between Seoul to Tokyo and Tokyo to Seoul is going to be the same without a shadow of doubt, right? So t equals distance divided by speed. Distance is of 170 minus x divided by 436 with reference to the from Tokyo. Okay, but also we have to make another equation. Uh, if this distance is x, right? I can also say that x should be divided by 500 because this definitely is in the middle pathway, right? This is exactly at the middle. This is aligned exactly at the middle. So what I'm supposed to be doing is I'm supposed to be cross multiplying here. What am I supposed to be doing? I'm supposed to be basically cross multiplying here. So I'm going to be writing, give me a second. Let me just start charging my device again. Yeah. If I cross multiply, I'm going to be getting 500 into 1170 minus x equals 436x. 500 multiplied by 1170, this becomes 58500 minus 500x equals 436. Okay, now I've done something wrong here. I've definitely done something wrong here. Wait. Isn't it going to be the same from both sides? I think it's going to be same from both sides. I've done a mistake here. It's not going to be x over 500. Basically what it is going to be is simply, I think it should be from the ratio of one part to the other part, right? Is there another easy way of doing it? Let me check.